Hey everyone, it's Mitch with Start to Finish Farming. Today I wanted to go over something real quick. We have a New Holland 575 baler here, and we had a problem with our needle yoke latch, or our needle protection latch, being out of adjustment. Obviously, for most of you guys that have been baling for a while, you know that's a pretty big deal. We were running through this machine, getting it ready to go out in the field for the first time this season, and we stumbled across that. After looking in the manual and digging online, I really didn't find a whole lot of information on it, so I figured I would do a video and kind of run through the system and how it works and the adjustments and what to look for as far as any potential failures. So let's get started. So here we have our New Holland 575. This is one of the older models before they came out with the BC series. These were a high capacity baler. A lot of guys like them when they got a lot of hay, and sometimes when the hay is a little thin, they're a little frustrating, but they get the job done. So this particular machine we had for a couple years. We just got it out last year, put a couple hundred bales through it. Seemed all right. We had to do some plunger adjustments. The bushings that hold the plunger in were busted out. They weren't even connected. So we had to go through and put some new bolts in and re-shim it, get everything lined up. Figured we'd go out and try it for the last couple balings of the year and see how it did, and it did all right. So then when we came here, wanted to go through it in the spring, do a final rundown, that's when we noticed the needle yoke problem. So here we have our needle yoke and we have our needles. The two needles are under here to bring the string up into the knotter system. Now, on this particular baler, I can tell that there's already been some sort of damage done, and one of the needles has already been replaced. So that could have been the cause for the failure in the needle latch system that we're going to get into, and it could not be. So pretty much this mechanism here has a cable that connects closer to the side of the machine, up closer to the flywheel, and where that connects to is a bracket, and it comes to the back of that bracket, and there's supposed to be a spring on the front of that bracket that connects forward and holds tension on the latch that actually comes out and stops the plunger from moving. So in this particular case, we had noticed some slack right here in this cable. And we'll get you a little closer in so you can see it here. This should be tight, with this tight on the yoke. And that's crucial to making sure that everything is in time to where if there ever was a problem, that needle latch would come out and stop that plunger from moving and smashing into the needles and causing who knows how much damage. Now as we come over to the mechanism here, we can take a look, and you can see where this cable runs along the frame of the baler. And it keeps running down, and you can see it right over through here. And if we come down, we zoom in, we can see all the slack in that cable and where that cable connects to. And now that we've taken a look at the back of the baler and we saw where the cable comes up to the yoke, it's time to take a look at the front of the baler, at the latch mechanism itself, and see how it functions, what it does, how to adjust it, and how to diagnose any problems that you could have. Now on these balers, when you come up to the side, you'll see this. And this is part of the latch mechanism. This is actually the part of the latch that stops the plunger. Okay? That cable runs down along this frame, comes out. You can see it there, and attaches over next to the yoke. Next, we have to crawl underneath this baler and take a look at that latch.
There's no easy way to do this.
So as we take a look underneath here, we can see where our cable comes up, comes to the back, and connects to our latch. As we come closer, we can see there's a grease fitting here. Very important that this grease fitting is properly lubricated, as this is probably one of the most important features as far as making sure the baler doesn't self-destruct. Okay, so what we can see here is our cable is still slack, but when we pull this, it tightens the cable up. Now this can sit here like this and you won't notice that your cable's slack. That's why it's important to check this. And this is where it was getting a little bit trickier to find information. If we come up here, we can take a look in there and we can see a bolt with a nut and a washer. That bolt goes down through the clevis that's connected to the cable that connects to this latch. Now what we don't see is the spring that's supposed to come here, come across here, and connect to where that hole is. I already took the bolt out that the spring connects to there. So that spring connects from this hole over to here, which pulls tension on this latch. And the spring is what makes the latch come out from the frame and go in front of the plunger. We can see up here, if we take a look, that latch is supposed to come and hit right here to stop this plunger from moving. And the goal with that is it's supposed to help break the shear bolt on the flywheel itself. Now as we come back over here, you can see that this latch is supposed to be just inside the frame. It's not supposed to come out, and it's not supposed to come out past this block right here, okay? So it's supposed to come out flush with the frame, almost flush with the frame, and that cable is to be tight. So every time the needles go up, the cable slacks, the spring pulls forward, this latch comes out, spins out like this, and stops the plunger by hitting that plate. Very important that you check that spring. Very, very important. If not, you could cause a lot of damage, and it could even be a season ender. So right here, I have the spring. This is all it is, small spring, spans a long way, got a lot of tension on it. A lot of people say that it's a real pain to change from some of the information I've seen. I guess we're gonna find out. I see a couple ways that I might be able to do it to make it work pretty easy, or should I say, not as hard as it probably could be. But if you just take a look at that there, that's all it is. Just this spring. You see right here the hook came off on this end, snapped off. Whether that's because it was tripped or worn out, who knows. We got another one of these coming. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can make it work and get this baler out. I really don't want to take this baler out in the field until that's fixed. Not worth it in my opinion. No matter what hay you got down, it's not worth destroying your baler over. So now we can see why it's very important to routinely check this and make sure that this needle protection latch or needle yoke latch is working properly. Saves a whole lot of headache, guys. I know it's a pain. Get underneath here and take a look at it, but it's even more of a pain when you break your needles or even worse. I have the spring for this on order. Hopefully it comes within the next couple of days. And you know, if you guys would like to see a video of me installing this spring, giving the exact measurements of what we're adjusting for on the latch, on the cable itself, and running it through a cycle, give me a like, follow, and subscribe, and we'll make it happen. Thanks, guys.